Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vocabulary this week. The 8 new words that you're learning have to do with Helen Keller, your story and reading. There'll be words to do with gaining knowledge. There'll be words to do with being blind or deaf because Helen Keller was both, as you have learned or you will be learning today. So our first word is knowledge. Knowledge is things learned and understood by experiences. So every time you do something, every time you read a book, every time someone talks to you, you gain more knowledge. Things learned and understood by experiences. And I love this picture right here because it shows him opening a magic box and putting lots of knowledge into this child's head. Just like when you get in the classroom, your teachers are going to shove things in your head and you will walk away with more knowledge. And then he is saying, let me hit you with some knowledge because he's going to tell him something that he's going to learn. And it doesn't look like he's too happy. So he's probably going to teach him something that he's mad about. Our next word is curious. And curious means eager to learn or know things. And if you've already listened to Helen Keller, Helen was a very curious person. And that is why she was able to learn so much in her life and do so well. So if you notice, this guy's like, what is it? And then, of course, Curious George is one of my favorite book characters because he is extremely curious and he always gets into adventures because of his curiosity. Our next word is a verb. So we could add the ing and the ed to it. And it is motion. That's the base word, the root word. So it's motion, motioning, motion. And what that is it's any kind of movement or action. So the minute that you see something move, you've seen motion. It can be fast, it can be medium, it can be very, very slow motion. My husband likes to walk on escalators or on the ramps in airports in slow motion. He drives me crazy doing that. So it's any kind of movement or action. Our next word is silence. It's the complete lack of sound. And if you can imagine Helen Keller, she lived in silence. She had a complete lack of sound because her illness when she was a baby did so much damage to her ears that it caused her to be in complete silence, complete lack of sound. The next one, of course, we're all familiar with right now, and that's illness. And an illness is a sickness, not feeling well, and not being healthy. So poor Donald Duck is, he's just under the weather is what they call it. He's probably has some kind of illness. Maybe he caught COVID. Maybe he caught the flu. Maybe he's just got a cold, or maybe he's faking his illness. And when Helen Keller was little, about 18 months old, I believe, she had a very severe illness. And of course, we know that it made her deaf and it also caused her to be blind. And I like the little COVID dude here because he's got his mask on, and we know that we're all going to wear masks when we get back to school. Our next word is imitate, imitating or imitated. So of course it's a verb because we can add the ing and the ed. This is happening right now. This is happening in the past. And that means to copy or repeat something. And how Annie got Helen to understand what was going on in the world was by imitating. Helen imitated her hands. She imitated the feeling of words in her hand. And she also imitated the way the breath came out of Annie's mouth. She learned to interpret the sounds. Do you see how her finger is on the nose and her finger is right up against the lips? Helen is literally understanding by feeling. Isn't that cool? And she's imitating. Then she goes and imitates Annie from then on, which means to copy or repeat. Our next word is darkness. And darkness is completely without light. And so if you notice, this picture is darkness, but this little blue dot, so it's not complete darkness. Then this one we see complete darkness on the outside, but where Mickey has the little flame, we do not see complete darkness. So darkness can have shades to it, but usually when you're talking about darkness, you're talking about the complete lack of light. All right? And then, of course, our last one is behavior. And that is how a living thing acts. And it can be both positive and it can be negative. So before Helen learned how to communicate with her parents and other people, her behavior was very negative. It was very difficult. She threw things, she hurt people. And then after she learned how to communicate, her behavior changed. And she was a very positive person. She was a very curious person. She was a very eager person. So behavior is both that positive and the negative. And that's why we always tell you all, think about how you act because you affect other people with your behavior. And it's usually if you're positive, you're going to affect people good. People are going to smile more. They're going to say hi to you, and they're going to generally want to be around you. If your behavior is negative, where you throw yourself on the floor or don't want to do work or, oh my goodness, this is too hard, then people are going to get more frustrated with you, just like people were frustrated with Miss Helen Keller. All right. So that is our 8 words this week. Make sure that you know that you can go on Spelling City and you can play some games to do with vocabulary. You can always watch this quick video again, or you could even look in your orange reading book, your orange reading book, and there's a vocabulary page there if you want to just study them and think about them. All right. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.